Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to another Mage Monday. Today we're looking at the Mage Soul. Soul is quite new at this point, so things might change because he's actually pretty powerful at this moment. We'll go over her passive first. She gains heat when she attacks with her auto attacks, when she hits someone with it, or when she uses an ability. Some abilities grant more heat than others, but that's something I'll go over next. Each auto attack generates 5% heat. And what does he do, you ask me? Well, for every 4% heat, she gains 1% magical power and 1.2% attack speed. And when she is at 100% heat, her basic attacks do an additional 25% damage. So actually the best thing you can have is to have it on 100% every single time you can. Because you will do additional damage, you have more attack speed and you'll get more power from your items. I'll go over her one first. I haven't trained it yet, but basically she puts down an area of effect down on the ground where she's at with a little circle. It will heal a percentage of missing health over time, which increases on the level of your 1. So at rank 1 it's 5% of your missing health, and at maximum rank it's 25% of your missing health over a course of 5 seconds. So that can do a lot of healing if you're very low health in the later stages of the game. It also deals damage on anyone that's in the circle, so minions as well as gods. It will deal overtime damage for every second it does damage, and it stays it stays on the ground for a few seconds. I'm not sure how long, but that's alright. Let's go over her 2 second. Her 2 she can activate at any point. When she then basic attacks, she shoots out a large, she shoots out an auto attack that detonates on impact. And when it detonates, it's a huge area of effect, as you can see here, that basically hits everything within the range twice. And it also slows. When you activate it, you also gain 10% heat. That's something I forgot to tell about her 1. Her 1 grants 40% heat at level 1 and 80% at the max rank of her 1. So that's very good for gaining heat. Nothing more actually about her 2, except that when you fire it, it will also detonate when it's at a maximum range from your autos, which causes it to actually come further. You can deal damage further than your basic attacks could. Let's go over her 3. Her 3 is a quite interesting ability. She gains movement speed, and well, that's actually about it. She gains a lot of movement speed, as you can see here. I activated. You are also immune for slow. You are immune for root effect, and you don't get any movement penalties for basic attacking. So it's like an hastened fatalis. And after a few seconds, it will once you activate it, you will leave a trail on the ground. When someone walks over that trail, when there are a few seconds past, not only will it damage over time by standing in the path, but when you stay in it, once she reaches a certain point, as you saw there, it will also detonate and stun for 1.5 seconds. When the few seconds pass, it's 3 seconds to be correct. After 3 seconds, when she first activated her 3, she becomes immune to damage, crowd control, anything actually. However, she can't use any basic attacks, so it's basically just an walking Aegis at that point. As you can see here, I'm a fiery ball and I can't use any auto attacks. You can, however, cancel that effect early on by just right clicking So you can actually use your 3 if you use it at the right moment as an escape, because you're immune to damage and crowd control. But you can also use it to chase someone down with additional movement speed. So it's a very interesting ability. Also the trail can be used very nice if you know how to use it. It's quite difficult to use it effectively as a stun and additional damage, because you have to actually walk over their path. But still. As you can see here, a little misplay on my part. I should have just ran towards the portal instead of trying to dodge some abilities. But that's alright. We all make mistakes sometimes. Let's just continue with her ultimate. Her ultimate is quite interesting. She throws down balls from the sky, something like that. It's on a little targeter on the ground. It's not too big, but it will hit 8 times, so you can actually spread it out. It's kind of like Amusen Cup's his honey, that you can actually use it either to zone out an enemy team, because you can literally paint an entire lane with it, but you could also just put it on one spot, which would deal a lot of damage, because the first hit will deal a good amount of damage and will also knock up the enemy. Well, knock back, to be honest. If you hit more than that, you will actually also hit less, because that will only do 20% of the initial damage. As you see here, Thanatos is going for me, and I do need to be careful. I tried to dodge his ultimate, but I was not able to do so. And as you can see here, he's ulted by Capri, so it's pretty much safe at that point. Well, that's just an ultimate. It's quite difficult to use, because there's a little delay on when you activate it and when it deals damage. So with CCs it will work out a lot better, and you shouldn't try to paint an entire area with a large area with it, because it can be very effective if you aim it at the person. It can actually hit for a lot. As you can see here, the enemies is grouped a lot. I used my ultimate. I finished off their Karen. I'm chasing down their Shang with my 3, and basically I'm now fighting against Capri and Isis. As you can see here, I try to fight and do a lot of damage with my auto attacks because of an item that I picked. That's what I will discuss next. I started off with the cooldown boots, because recently I like that a lot, because the additional mana is very good, and it will also provide some cooldown reduction, which is always nice on a mage. Then I went for Intellikines. The build I'm using this time is a bit different than you might see a lot. This is a build I came across. It's not a build I came up with, but it's a build that was used against me with great effectiveness, so that's why I tried to copy it with quite a success. As you can see, I'm 4-2 at this point. Maybe because they tower dive, but still it did do a lot of damage. I went for Telekines because something I forgot to mention, her 2, because her 2 you activate, when you activate it you throw it as an auto attack, but it also counts as an auto attack as well as an ability. So that what that means is Telekine's ring will proc on your 2. Also, your as you can see, the Polynomicon I have as 3rd item will also proc on my 2. And something very interesting is the Telekines will actually proc twice on my 2, because it's basically 2 times you do damage on someone. As you can see here, the enemy is quite stuck between the towers and just the wall of the jungle, and we were able to pick Shanga up. Also the Thanatos, and again here you can see a nice damage on Isis. Finish her off. Both are stuck in a rock and a hard place and we were able to wipe the entire enemy team. And since we're close to the Gold Fury, we can just as well do the Gold Fury. We also have a lot of damage, And what I noticed is that the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant are a bit weaker in Clash than they would be in Conquest, so it's easier to go for them. As you can see, I have 2500 gold, so I finished off the Demonic Grip. Demonic Grip also procs twice on Souls 2. So as you can see, this build, when you hit someone with your 2, you will actually hit twice with Telekines, you will hit with Polynomicon, you will hit twice with Demonic Grip, and now I'm going for Spear of the Magus, which also is activated by your 2 because it's also an ability. So that means that with your 2 alone, you will proc 2 times Telekines, 2 times Demonic Grip, Polynomicon, and 2 times Spear of the Magus. You will proc so much in such a large area that every single mage on your team will do so much damage on the enemy because they lose defense from Demonic Grip as well as Spear of the Magus. So that's something that's something I really like about this build. As you can see, I went really aggressive, waited for the ultimates to finish on the Capri. As you can see here, I do an auto attacks, few auto attacks, and I'm able to hit the Capri with the last auto attack, granting me the quadra kills. As you can see, a lot of damage. An insane amount of damage. And again, you can see I have a lot of gold. Something kind of interesting and annoying sometimes. Her 3 is kind of hard to get used to, I think, because a lot of times when you try to use your 3 as a chase mechanic for additional movement speed and the Hastened Fatalis effect, so you don't get any penalties, then sometimes you try to attack, and then the immunity kicks in. At this point my team was trying to do the Fire Giant, and they actually didn't leech it. They got dunked by Thanatos, and they also were stuck by the ultimate from the enemy Isis. And honestly, it was a very bad decision to go for the Fire Giant or to actually continue doing the Fire Giant when Isis was around. Because I'm also saying in the chat right now, Isis ultimate is the best secure you can have. If you've seen my Mage Monday on Isis, you know that the ultimate from Isis can actually do an insane amount of damage, especially when it's fully charged. That's what it's all about. But with the Fire Giant also counting as a damage source, you're almost guaranteed to get that full charge on that Isis ultimate. So it not only secured the Fire Giant for them, it also killed off some of my teammates, and we were wiped. As you can see, we lost our Phoenix, so we do have to be a bit careful. They do still have Fire Giant, but what I noticed in Clash, it doesn't really matter. In the pro scene with Conquest and all, it's a lot more effective to have Fire Giant, but as you can see, they're not all professionals, and they're all split up at this point, so we can just lay waste in enemies one by one. As you can see, Capri's half health. Unfortunately, Chiron picks up our Janus, so that makes things a bit more difficult. We are already outnumbered and such. But as you can see here, a nice blink in from our Cabrakan. And here you can see me doing some auto attacks. I do need to be careful for this, because as you can see here, again, I tried to dodge. It wasn't the best place for me to dodge. But when I ran away from the Chiron, if he would have killed me with his ultimate, he also would have been resurrected. So that would have been very unfortunate. At this point, only our Chiron is left alive, and as you can see, the Fire Giant was actually effective. So I think I have to swallow those words back in, because they did actually almost wipe us. As you can see, we're not doing too great. We're behind in kills. They got our Phoenix. They have the Fire Giant. I don't think they'll have it for a lot longer. However, the game is not over yet. As you can see, I have 5 items already. I'm only level 15, but I'm already full build. Mostly because I got fed a lot. I got a quadra, and I also got like a triple or something at the start of in the early stages of the game. You can see a lot of damage. As you can see, a lot of damage on the enemy Isis, and with one last auto attack, it actually made it to her a lot. I was able to finish her off. As you can see, a lot of damage on the tank because the penetration was just so nice. As you can see here, I activate my my heavily agility for the team to either initiate or tank. Here I use Aegis just to prevent the Thanatos from hitting me with his sight, which would do a lot of damage and heal him. As you can see here, I chase down, I am able to kill off the enemy. Here you see Chiron ulting me, and he is also using his 2, which he can't miss, but it also slows me. I'm lucky that Capri missed his 1, but they were not able. I was not able to run away as fast as I could. I'm pinging the map for the Capri. It's kind of unfortunate they just ignored him. He had such a little amount of health. They would have been able to use 1 or 2 abilities to finish him off. But as you can see here, Capri is just going to escape. So that's rather unfortunate. But not too worried. As you can see, my last item is Soul Reaver. Also very nice. The one-shot potential on squishy targets is so high with this. You can see Ravana going in. He went in a fully charged Isis ultimate. He did have his Shield of the Underworld activated, which would reflect a bit of the damage. However, he was still not able to do anything, and he just suicided for it. As you can see here, Chiron already also died. I activated my flea to get some more movement speed, but I try to poke down the enemy Capri. As you can see, the penetration does do a lot for me, and their Thanatos just walks into our spawn. As you can see, both enemies are between the Phoenixes and our base, so they either have to kill us or have to run through the Phoenix. So at this point they're kind of suicided at this point. They should have ran a lot faster. They shouldn't all have dove that far, and they didn't even get the kill for it, so it's definitely not worth it for them. At this point we can actually do something. We are going for the Fire Giant. I mean, they only have 2 left. The Isis is dead, so we have a bit better secure. However, the Chiron is able to pick up the Janus. I am going to focus on the Fire Giant. I'm not going to leech it because I do think we are able to pick it up. But the enemy Chiron picks up our Chiron as well, so he did get 2 kills in exchange for it. As you can see here, Thanatos landed on me. I used my Aegis to prevent any further damage, and with a few basics it did a lot of damage on the Thanatos, and I was able to pick him up together with Cabrakan. As you can see here, I go for the power buff because I can use the lot, but the Isis with a nicely timed Spirit Ball gets it. As you can see here, I activate my 1 a lot because it will actually cause my heat to be at 100%, which is very good. Also, something that you might not know, you can actually auto attack Capri while he is pulling you, so I'll just try to auto attack as fast as possible. I also activated my 3 just before he was able to pull me, so after the 3 seconds I was immune to CC and damage, so I was able to get out safely. As you can see, my team picked up 2 of the enemies, and at this point we're alive with 5. We got their Phoenix. I have my second power potion, the 3000 gold potion, and also the Fire Giant buff, so that's very much damage. As you can see, an ultimate was able to pick up 2 kills, a few auto attacks, and able to finish off the enemy Titan. As you can see, I actually fought quite aggressive. I was able to because with your 3 you can actually get away. If you initiate with your 3 you can actually get away with it quite easily. So that makes things very interesting. Also, when you're low on health you can use your 1, which will generate even more health when you're low on it. So that's actually quite interesting. She has this very strong kit. It's basically centered about her 1, or I mean about her 2, and the fact that she can do a lot of damage with the auto attacks. I'll go over my build again. Cooldown of Boots because the mana and the cooldown. Telekines because it procs on a 2. Polynomicon because it procs on a 2. Demonic Grip because it procs on a 2. Spirit of Magic because it procs on a 2. And Soul Reaver because it procs on a 2. So actually everything procs on my 2. And that's just insane amount of things you can get on someone with just one ability. However, the order in which you do it is actually quite important, because going Telekines first is very important because the damage is quite low, so the additional damage you gain from it is very high. Polynomicon I usually go at either 3rd or 4th. If you need a lot of penetration, I would recommend getting the Demonic Grip as 3rd item before Polynomicon, but if they don't have a lot of defense, just go for the Polynomicon, because you can't miss it with your 2. Then I went for the Demonic Grip and the Spear. Those 2 are very important, especially if you have another good mage on your team, like for instance the Janus I have on my team. Janus didn't even pick up any penetration because he knew that if I hit my 2, he would have a lot of damage on them, because the defense didn't really matter that much. And the Soul Reaver, just a very powerful item, grants a lot of power and the effect is just insane. I went for 2 actives. I went for a sprint, team sprint, because the regular sprint isn't as good as anymore, and to help out your team it can be very good to either disengage or engage on your enemy. I went for an Aegis because I really felt I needed it, with the Thanatos being able to dunk in, or Isis and Chang'e with a lot of damage. I could have gone for Beach, but it was kind of a risk I was willing to take. It was a bit 50-50 on what I wanted to get, and in the end it did actually work out in a few scenarios, so it was a good pickup. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something about Sol, and well, I'll see you guys in the next episode, and as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.